Right, today we're going to look at the components of direct marketing, specifically the first three components: the objectives of direct marketing, the media that can be used, and the creative copy element of direct marketing. This is the second part of a three-part lecture. Last time we looked at what is direct marketing and some of the pros and cons. This time we're going to look at those components, and then we'll finish off the remaining topics in the third lecture. So, components of a direct marketing campaign. This is an important slide because this essentially sums up everything that you need to know about direct marketing. If you do all five of these things, or consider them very carefully and implement them really well, then your direct marketing campaign will be a success. So we'll start off with the objectives, specifically what will it achieve. So we'll repeat some important points from the last lecture. Then we'll briefly look at the type of media that can be used, and then we'll spend most of this lecture looking at the creative component and some of the, ideas that you should be taking into account when you structure a direct marketing campaign. So in terms of objectives, we mentioned earlier how direct marketing aims to do more than transmit information or raise awareness of a brand. Certainly it will do that, it will transfer information, and it will also raise awareness, but it's aiming to engage the respondent and get them to respond in some way. So some of these objectives then, holding that philosophy in mind, is that the response could be receiving orders for your product, right? So that's the most obvious one, where you get a direct marketing communication sent to you as the consumer, and then it says, to purchase, order here, and it might be a link to a website, or it might be a link to another page that you can place an order, or you can add it to your cart, or maybe it's a promo code that you have to enter on some other sort of platform. And so orders for a product is something that you're expecting as one potential objective for your direct marketing campaign. But it could be other objectives as well. They have one thing in common, is that they're expecting a response from the audience, but it could be something like entries into a competition, right? Because when a person enters a competition, they by default have to give you some sort of information about themselves, at the very least their name and a way of contacting them, and that is all you need to begin the database. So direct marketing combines really well with sales promotions in terms of competitions and sweepstakes being one form of sales promotion. And that adds to the database that you can later on use to augment your direct marketing campaign. Other objectives might be to receive inquiries, right? So to get people to ask or make contact, touch base with your business to try and find out more information. It could be registrations for some sort of launch party or launch event. It could be getting people to visit your company website, and it could just be placing their name as an expression of interest for when the product or service is ready. So by definition, the purpose of direct marketing is to create a behavioral response, and those behavioral responses are listed above in those 6 different types of objectives that you could be aiming for when you launch a direct marketing campaign. The second component of direct marketing is the media that can be used with direct marketing. So essentially, because direct marketing is more of a philosophy than a specific tactic that you do, any sort of media can be used for direct marketing. So newspapers, magazines, yep, definitely. Here's an example on the slide of a magazine direct marketing style ad. There's a lot of information there, as you can see. So it would have to have been targeted in a very specific magazine to really communicate with a specific segment of the population that would have the time to read about these the information provided here. So it's a fairly old example because this is a portable Discman, which is a CD player, which you guys probably think is quite retro. But the philosophy remains the same, and the speaker company, Bose, I think it's called, or Bose, is still around, so it's still a relevant brand. But essentially what you see there, and I want to draw your attention to the bottom right hand corner, is that there's a call to action, right? They have a telephone number that you need to ring in order to be eligible for this promotion of receiving a free CD player for buying a new set of headphones. So this is an example of direct marketing using magazine as a medium and integrated with sales promotion in terms of a giveaway. TV infomercials we mentioned in the previous lecture as another form of medium that is compatible with direct marketing. So shopping networks are a good example where there will be a specific number you dial if you want to buy that product. And so you can see direct marketing philosophy at play there, because they have the infomercial, which is, you know, arguably mainstream media, TV. However, they are trying to communicate directly with the customer by providing a phone number or some sort of website that the customer then responds to. And so that's the direct channel there. And finally, catalogs are another sort of the most classical example of direct marketing you can think of. Are those catalogs that used to get sent out to different households, and then within it people could order via postage mail the type of product they want delivered to their home. So these catalogs now may take the form of online websites, but once again the philosophy is the same. You want to either send a link to this website directly to people in your database that will find your products relevant, or you want to send your catalogs physically to households that will find your products relevant. And then you have to expect that response, right? That they're going to want to place an order with you, and therefore you must prepare for that and give them the necessary information for them to be able to respond. So here's some examples of the media that are used in direct marketing. So here's an infomercial with a telephone number and also a website that people can respond to. Here's a catalog that might be used in a direct marketing campaign. So in this particular case, that woman gets the catalog mailed physically to her address. She looks at it, and if there are any products that she's interested in, at the back there will be an order form, and I would suspect in this day and age also linked to, you know, information about a website she can go to place an order as well. Here is a list of all the types of media that are compatible with direct marketing. Basically anything that can transmit the information, engage the audience, and elicit a response. And then have information within that direct marketing communication that tells the audience member what to do, how to contact them, which website to go to, which promo code to use, and where to enter it, how to basically do the thing that the direct marketing material wants them to do, whether it be enter a competition or place an order or donate something, etc., etc. Here's a good example of a direct marketing campaign, once again for a non-profit cause. In this particular case, it's Earth Hour, which is 60 minutes, 1 hour every year, where everyone in the world is encouraged to turn the lights off. It's drawing attention to energy consumption, in particular energy consumption that relies on the burning of fossil fuels. So in New Zealand, we participate in Earth Hour. However, most of our energy is renewable, so it's not really a major concern for us. But in other places in the world, particularly the emerging economies, a lot of their electricity is powered through coal, or at least the burning of some other fossil fuel. And so Earth Hour then draws attention to this by encouraging people to conserve their energy for 1 hour and just raising awareness of exactly how electricity is a pervasive part of modern living, modern society. This particular direct marketing campaign draws several elements we've talked about together already. Number one, it's very selective. It's reaching business owners of commercial properties, in particular skyscrapers. So you're only reaching people that have the power to turn off the power, sorry for the pun, of an entire skyscraper. You're sending those people this candle. So when you lift out the candle, either to inspect what the heck this is or to use the candle during Earth hour because you're turning the lights off, it replicates what the building looks like when you turn the lights off. So this is an example of how direct marketing is not expecting a transaction in terms of placing an order because they're not selling anything, but what they are selling is an idea, and what they are expecting is response in terms of engagement with the Earth hour and what they want business owners in particular to do for that particular year. Turn the lights off on your skyscraper, and here's a candle to help you during that hour. And also, at the very least, it's raising awareness and transmitting information about Earth hour. Here's another not so good example of direct marketing being used once again very successfully, but perhaps for more ethically dubious reasons. This is a casino who is sending paper wallets that look like real wallets with paper money, which are essentially vouchers that the recipient can cash in at the casino in exchange for casino chips, right? So $100 worth of casino chips. It says there, we'd like to offer you $100 free to give our casino a try. So parking ethics aside, this is an example of direct marketing can be used just as well by a casino as it can be for environmentalists, right? You're sending, once again, this promotional material. So this is a sales promotion in the form of a coupon, essentially, and you're targeting probably households within the area that have people that might find casinos interesting. Or if you really want to, I guess, essentially start off broad, you could cover, every household or apartment within walking distance to the casino, and when they come in to cash in that $100, I can guarantee that they must give their information over in some way. And then that adds to the database further for them to receive future promotions or communications, right? So this is an example of sales promotions combined with direct marketing that then closes the loop, enhances the database, so that you may do further direct marketing in the future. So now we're going to spend a bit of time talking about the TCPM of direct marketing. So TCPM stands for cost per thousand, particularly targeted costs per thousand. So the M stands for thousand. It's a Roman numeral thing. Don't ask me why, but that's just industry speak. So in industry, when they talk about TCPM, they talk about essentially how much it costs to reach 1,000 people. So if we think about direct marketing, it might end up being quite expensive to reach 1,000 people because you're sending out what is hopefully good, high quality communications, and you might also be linking that with a sales promotion, which adds an additional cost or expense to the communication, and you're not reaching millions of people or hundreds of thousands of people. You're only reaching maybe hundreds of people, right? So therefore the cost per thousand is quite high. If you compare that with something like broadcast media, you're reaching hundreds of thousands of people, and so therefore the targeted cost per thousand might seem relatively low. But it's not really fair to evaluate direct marketing in that respect. You have to evaluate direct marketing in terms of response rates, right, or conversion rates, rather than reach. And so the old saying there is that it's better to reach 20,000 prospects than 2 million suspects. And this is a bit of a jab at mainstream marketing or mainstream traditional advertising. You might be spending $100,000 to reach 100,000 people, and so your cost per thousand is going to be relatively low. But you might be spending 100,000 people to reach only 1,000 people in direct marketing, so the cost per thousand seem really high. But if direct marketing is done well, using really good data in the database and reaching those people that are ready to buy your product, then you're going to convert more of that 1,000 people you reach through direct marketing than the 100,000 people you reach through TV, right? And so this is the way you fairly evaluate the success and return on investment of a direct marketing campaign. So the third component of direct marketing is creative, or the creative copy element. So the copy, which is basically what it says, what the direct marketing message consists of, is the word element, also sometimes the image element. Basically, it's the content. And you need to pay attention to that, obviously, because sometimes it's acting as the only way a consumer will find out about your brand. So remember, in one of the cons of direct marketing in the first lecture, we talked about how a lot of small to medium enterprises use direct marketing as the only form of advertising, or the only form of promoting their brand, which should not be the case. You should really combine it in an integrated fashion with using, other tools. But if it's the only thing you do, then you want to make sure that what you're saying and all that information you're transferring is going to be, highly accurate, very reader-friendly, non-confusing, etc., etc. So the copy element of direct marketing not only acts as the argument or the reason to buy or engage with the product, but also that it may be acting in isolation. And within the creative elements, we talk about a one-step versus two-step approach. So a one-step means you send everything, all the information they need to respond, all in one go, in one step, whereas two-step means that you're sending just enough information for them to maybe reach out and make contact, perhaps send an expression of interest, and then when they do that, you can then follow up with the second step, which is to maybe combine it with personal selling. Contact the person and just give them a bit more information, find out about their needs a little bit more, find out about them and their family as unique individuals and a unique unit, and then cater your message in your follow-up response to that particular customer. So the role of copy, and here we've got some really cool examples of how direct marketing can be highly creative and very flexible. So the role of the copy is to, number one, you have to get the attention, right? And direct marketing is great at that. The very first example I used with the plastic toy soldiers, that is going to get attention, 100% guarantee it. It's not going to be like a radio ad that you can zone out of, or TV ad that you can just go to the fridge and get some food. You are going to engage with that message. Here's another example by IKEA of their direct marketing, where they're essentially sliding these pamphlets under the doors of households within the local area. This will get attention because A, it's in their house, so people are going to pick it up. But when they open it, it actually turns into a bedroom sort of suite. And so this builds on the brand of IKEA, which is all about flat pack furniture, right? Convenient, affordable, high quality, flat pack furniture that is very small, so it's easily transportable from the point of retail back to your home. You can carry it, or you can even put it in your car very easily, and then it unfolds into the furniture, whether it be a bed or a set of drawers or bedside tables, etc., etc. And so this example here we can see gets attention. It's building rapport with the customer because they'll probably get a kick out of opening the thing, going, oh, this is really cool. It's like a pop-up book. It's providing information on there. There's fine print in the bottom right-hand corner that you can't quite make out, but obviously it's saying something about IKEA. It's definitely sort of, raising the curiosity of the audience. So when you imagine you walking home, you open your door and you see this envelope, you go, what's this? You open it up, and then it's a pop-up. You're going to read that message, right? I can nearly guarantee that. And then beyond that, getting attention, you want to develop interest then. So, ideally, they would have only spent money sending this direct mailer to households within an area that are eligible to go to that IKEA store and buy products there, right? There's no point in sending this to some other suburb way, way, way away where there is no IKEA store, right? So you have to make sure the prospect is a real prospect. And when they are a real prospect, then you will develop their interest, because if I get this flyer and I can't go to IKEA because there are no IKEA in New Zealand, then it's a wasted exposure. However, if I'm in an apartment next door to IKEA and I've just moved in and I get this under my door, I'm going to be very interested because I might be in that market to buy some flat pack furniture. And I also know that there's an IKEA just down the road. So that makes me a prospect, and a real prospect at that. You want to deliver the major benefits. So within the copy here, we see that the major benefit obviously is, reminding people that IKEA is highly convenient flat pack furniture. You want to back up your initial promise. I don't know what promise they're making there because I can't read the fine print, but ideally the copy will reiterate any promises that were made through the other marketing communications that's happened already, right? So with IKEA, if their promise is of convenient, high quality, affordable flat pack furniture, then this direct marketing material should back that up. You need to add more benefits to support your headline. So within that fine print, there might be some other sort of additional benefit. And you want to make sure that this on its own tells a complete story. And I think it does. So even if you've never seen a TV ad for IKEA or heard a radio ad or seen a billboard and you receive this direct mailer, on its own, it does tell a complete story of IKEA. Or at the very least, it gives information about what the brand is and where I can find out more information. But I suspect, having never heard an ad of IKEA or seen an ad, if I receive this, then I could pretty quickly ascertain that it's advertising material from IKEA. You see the logo down the bottom right-hand corner. There's a bit of fine print that explains more. On the back, there's probably more information about where the local store is, or at least how to get to a website to learn more about the brand. And the final point on the slide, WIIFM, what's in it for me? So this is something you're trying to answer with your direct marketing material. You have to answer that question that the audience will ask when they open your direct marketing material. What's in it for me, right? So in this case, the what's in it for me is built in. It's the novelty and enjoyment you get from opening this direct marketing material because it is high quality. But on the other hand, if you can't afford to do something this high end, there still needs to be an answer to the question, what's in it for me? And so it could be just making the main benefits of your product really obvious. It could be linking it with a sales promotion so that if the person acts now, they get a discount or further value added to the transaction. So you want to entice them into doing something because you have to remember the whole philosophy of direct marketing is to engage the customer and get them to respond in some way. So the role of copy continued. The third point is to offer proof. And I've got some other examples I'll bring up online. But to offer proof, as in to really convince them that if they do business with you or respond in the way you want them to respond, that they're not going to regret it, you can provide demonstrations. You can provide testimonials of previous customers. So direct marketing is ideal for that because there can be a lot of copy, a lot of information, because you're sending it only to people that are interested. And so they're prepared to read this extra information in the form of a testimonial. You might want to provide guarantees. You might want to provide the opportunity for them to try your product at no risk. Endorsements from famous people. You want to set the right tone so that you're not positioning the product as cheap and untrustworthy, but rather the opposite, that it's high quality, it's selective, that they're lucky to be the very small group of people that you're sending this offer to. And you might want to be ready for any questions that they may have. Because direct marketing can be a high involvement media in terms of if you use print, or an infomercial, you can often address a lot of the questions they may already have. And as you get to learn about the types of questions that your customers typically have, you can start incorporating that in future direct marketing material, right? If you always get asked a certain question, then it makes sense to answer it the next time you launch a direct marketing communication. The fourth point in terms of what to consider within the role of copy within direct marketing is that call to action. So I keep saying time and time again that direct marketing is a philosophy that aims to transmit information, engage the respondent, and then get them to respond in some way, right? So you want to expect that response. This is the whole point of direct marketing. So if you're expecting a response because you're eliciting a response, then you want to make it easy. It has to be easy to reach you. It has to be easy to find out more information about you. And it has to be easy for them to transact with you or pay you or donate to you. So you want to state exactly what the reader should do. This is what we call a call to action. And you provide info that's very easy for them to understand. I see a lot of advertisements that don't have a call to action. And unless the point of the ad is to build the brand image, which is fine, but unless that's the only point, you typically do want some sort of call to action, right? Because otherwise, how are you going to generate the response that's required to make them exchange value with your business, which then creates that return on investment you need to justify the spending in the first place. And finally, you want to ask for commitment. So try to get the consumer to make some sort of behavioral commitment. And that's what this will go back to that two-step approach. You know, sometimes if you take little steps, it's much better than trying to get them to do everything in one go and, you know, purchase a new vehicle, for example. That's unlikely to happen, right, for a high cost transaction. So you want a two-step approach. You want to pique their interest, get their attention, offer a free test drive or some sort of discount. Then get them to come in, ask more information, or perhaps put their name down for an expression of interest for when the product is ready, right? By doing that small behavioral commitment, whether it be reaching out or accepting a phone call from you or entering competition, you're sort of paving the way and nudging them in that right direction so that they can be more receptive to a bigger transaction later on, which is to purchase your product or to make that donation. Here's an example of, it's another sort of non-for-profit conservation direct marketing idea. So this was sent to households to raise awareness of water conservation. And it starts off as a blue envelope with a secret message, and you run it underwater. So only the bit on top is visible. It says, I believe it says run underwater. And then as you do that, it reveals the rest of the message, which raises awareness about water conservation and water quality and the importance of water to life, essentially. Here's a really cool example of a business-to-business direct marketing campaign. So this is done by a sub agency or a small agency of creative experts, branding experts. And so what they wanted was to get work from other larger agencies. So often these large advertising agencies will subcontract to smaller agencies or creative sub-agencies to do work if they have either too much work or they don't want the permanent staff on hand that they have to keep paying if the work isn't coming in from clients, right? So it's easier to have a smaller group as an ad agency and to subcontract work for when you need it. So in this particular example, there is a company that wants to make it known to the ad agencies in the area that they would love to do branding work, right? And their motto is, we'll give our blood for good branding. And so obviously you see the link there with the bag of what looks to be blood. You know, I'm hoping it's not actual blood, but the point is that they are really creative, quite shocking, very attention-grabbing, and 100% going to get the attention of the managing director or whoever it is they're sending this collateral to raise awareness of their creative agency. Right, and so there's a bit of fine print there. There's probably a CV there of the work that they have done before with other clients, and obviously communications, contact details, that sort of thing. Sent in an envelope to the local ad agencies, probably high up, the senior managers. And you know, you can see this engages the audience, and it's trying to elicit a response, which is to contact them and ask about their services that this branding creative agency provides.